Yo, having multiple income streams is a massively popular idea right now, but you should be very against this trend, and today I'm going to tell you why. Over the last few years, I've had over 20 different sources of income, and while I've made decent money doing that, it's been a bit of a nightmare. So today I'm going to share with you the problems with having multiple income streams. Then I'll explain what I wish I knew to make multiple income streams actually work if you want to do that. So what's wrong with multiple income streams? Well, I think there's three main myths that we need to debunk right now. Number one, that more income streams are always better. In theory, I agree with this because bigger numbers sound better than smaller numbers. And the more stuff you've got making you money, then maybe the more potential you have to get burritos and race cars. It's always good to have more burritos and race cars. But just because you have more sources of income doesn't mean you have a substantial enough amount of income to justify them, i.e. more sources don't always mean more money. Myth number two we need to debunk, that you can always make extra income without sacrificing in other areas of your life. The truth is that doing a small amount of work on numerous different things splits your attention across all those different things and it makes you bad at everything. I thought my life would be more simplified because the core of everything I'm doing with my online work is video production. And so I thought, I could just make a bunch of videos and then that'll be good. And all the income sources will be fed by that one amount of effort, that one focus. It's not that simple. And it's even worse if you're just starting, because in the beginning of any new venture, you've got this huge knowledge and experience gap that you have to cover to become profitable. And covering that gap takes a lot of time. So you've either got to work a ton in a short amount of time to cover that gap and get the knowledge and experience you need to become profitable. Or if you don't want to work an extra 5 hours a day on whatever this project is that you want to start making your side hustle, then you've got to be patient enough to only work the few hours a week that everyone talks about online. Oh, it'll only take you a few hours a week to make thousands. Well, if you really do that, then I think it's going to take you an incredibly long time to amass the experience and knowledge and expertise that you need to become profitable and span that gap. If I had to put a time frame on that, I think you're talking about waiting 1 to 3 years to become profitable. That's how long it's going to take you to become an expert in that field and justify making a real income from it. One of the dangers that comes with spending a significant amount of time on your side hustle, we're talking 10, 20, 30 hours per week, is that it's going to eat into your productivity at your real job, at your primary source of income. Yeah, it's nice to have side income, but if it takes down your full-time job in the process, that's a massive risk we've got to talk about. I've known people who have lost their full-time job because their bosses found out about their side hustle. So take that possibility into consideration before you start a side hustle and try and get another income stream or two. Then myth number three that we need to debunk is that there isn't a substantial amount of ongoing maintenance and effort required to sustain that income. Everybody talks about the core effort that you've got to put forth to generate this side income. Maybe it's grabbing a camera and making some content. Maybe it's writing online, whatever it is. People only talk about that core activity. Oh, anybody can just whip out a camera and make a video, or you can start a blog or a podcast. It's not that bad. There is a lot of maintenance work required to do your side hustle. Paperwork, taxes, learning about a new platform or software, relationship building emails and calls, reviewing contracts that sponsors or brands might send you, and a myriad of other soul-crushing tasks that aren't the core value you're trying to add to the world. This isn't the thing you're trying to get paid for, and yet you have to do it to make the side hustle work. Based on my own personal experience, I started making videos to try and help people understand personal finance and investing so that you can start investing as early as possible, grow your net worth quickly, get financially secure, set up yourself for retirement, and generally make your life better now so that you're less stressed about money. So I thought, I can do that. I can make videos. Simple enough. I make a video, edit it, put it online. Done. But even to do that one thing, I had to learn about the back end of YouTube and how to set up a camera and how to edit videos, how to process sound coming from a microphone and a 32-bit float recorder, reading sponsor contracts and learning about FTC disclosures and a bunch of other BS that technically has nothing to do with talking to you about money, but it's integral to the process. What you're doing when you're starting a side hustle is starting a little business, and all businesses are run by a whole support system of work that's outside of the core of what the value being delivered is. So if you're the one-man show starting the side hustle without anybody else to do that supporting work, it all falls on you, and it takes time. There's really nothing that you can do once or twice or 3 times that generates income for you indefinitely, except investing. Hey, you can invest your money into an asset and it generates money for you for forever. But outside of that, everything else requires tending, perpetuating, repeatedly talking about it, repeatedly investing your energy and effort into it. So it's probably wise to acknowledge that ongoing effort you've got to be putting out if you want to be getting income coming in. Maybe that's obvious. Maybe that's kind of a duh statement, but just put it out there. So in contrast to all of that, how do we successfully develop multiple income streams that are actually worth it? I've only got 2 rules of thumb for you here. One of them is a short one. Number 2 is a long one. The short rule of thumb is when we're doing this extra activity on top of whatever else we're doing to sustain our life, we're taking our spare time that we could have been using to spend with family or friends, or productive time you could be exercising, or whatever else you want to do within your life. Now we're taking a chunk of that and making it for adding an income stream. It has got to be worth it, and you have got to love the activity because now it's your hobby. Anything you do on your free time that doesn't make you money, until it starts making you money, it's a hobby. And if we don't love our hobbies, then what are we doing? And my only other rule for making a multiple income stream worth it is it's got to be a substantial amount of income. The reality is that's easier said than done. And how do you know which income source is going to provide significant income? If you haven't done it yet, how do you know? Well, I've got 2 main criteria to evaluate the quality of a source of income. The first criteria is the potential for payment. So what are the terms upon which you can earn income? The easier it is to earn income and the larger the numbers appear, the more appealing it seems. However, additional factors to consider include the nature of the company you're working with. How welcoming is that company? How responsive are they? How fast do they pay you? How reliable are they? What's the longevity of their company look like? You know, are they brand new? They've been around for 6 months, or have they been in business for a long time? And then that can inform you of the next question. Will they be out of business in a few years? I've experienced this firsthand. I've had brand deals with companies who have been around, who've paid me to make videos. I've had a few sponsored videos out there. There's not a lot. And then 6 months later, they're literally out of business. And so I'll email someone back and be like, hey, how's it going, guys? What's the latest? The email bounces back, or they'll say, hey, we're out of business now, or whatever. It's wild, but it totally happens. So the potential for payment rule is both about how much could you make, how do you trigger that income from happening, and how reliable is the source. The second criteria to evaluate a source of income is your passion for doing what it takes to make that income happen. In the context of content creation for me, how passionate am I about the company or brand or service or topic that I'm talking about? How excited am I to promote it and talk about it all the time, over and over? Because the more you talk about it, the more you've got a chance to get paid. Your passion behind something is a crucial quality, because some of my best opportunities have come from brands or situations that I wasn't particularly excited about. And so even though it passed that first test of the payment structure being good, the company was good, it was very clear, the terms were laid out in contracts that made sense, the structure was all very good. But the problem was my lack of interest became a significant obstacle to my progress. I wasn't motivated to make a bunch of videos in that direction because I just didn't care. So ideally what we want is something that gives us a great return on investment. Nothing is going to be 100% passive. And so we either need something that requires minimal effort, but that provides us with some kind of income. So we like it, very easy, a little bit of income, but that lowers the bar to something that's sustainable and doable while maintaining everything else in your life. Otherwise, if the side hustle is going to require a big lump of our effort every single week, then it's got to give us a real chance and a reliable chance of giving us substantial income. So if you see a chance on the horizon to make some side hustle income, to start a side business, to generate multiple income streams, I'm going to challenge you to do a little fact check. Do your research on the company, do your research on the structure of how exactly you get paid, and then present that to someone you trust and say, this is something that I'm considering, or maybe if you want to be even more cheeky, say this is something I've got a friend of mine who's considering. Here's how it's going to work. They have to do X, Y, and Z. They have to sell a bunch of t-shirts online, or they have to design something and sell a template on Canva, or they've got to make a video every single week to talk about their passion for real estate or whatever the thing is. And here's exactly how they're going to get paid. And here's probably how much they're going to get paid based on the initial results, or here's how long it might take for them to get results. Do you think that's worth it? Do you have any questions about that? And let them, from an outsider perspective, with somebody who's got no skin in the game whatsoever, just question the overall pursuit. And the reason we do this is if you're like me, you might have slightly rose-colored glasses about these opportunities because you're caught up thinking about what they could be. What if, with 2 hours a week, I can make a video and make the same kind of money that Graham Stephan makes? You know, what if you make $200,000 a month just from videos and referral links? How amazing would that be? Doesn't even seem that hard. How would that change my life to have $200,000 a month? Oh my gosh. And we're so busy dreaming about what the best case scenario is that we've totally overlooked what the realistic scenario is, which is you're gonna have to learn to make videos for the first 3 years, making a video per week every single week. You're gonna be terrible at it, probably get burned out about it, and not want to do it anymore. Unless it passes all those other tests, like you love the process, you're passionate about it, you're willing to spend the time to bridge that knowledge gap, all the other things. I think the result that a lot of us experience whenever we chase after multiple income streams is we start a bunch of little things, we try them out for a while, we either make zero to very little amounts of money, we get disenfranchised with the idea, and we move on to something else. And over the last few years, we've accumulated this crappy resume of having started and quit 5, 10 different things that we thought might be a substantial difference difference maker in our lives, and instead we didn't actually spend enough time on any one of them to give them the potential to become something significant. So if you want to make a multiple income stream situation a reality for your life, I would say do this. Focus on one or maybe two at a time max. Do not exceed the limit of two. And the reason for that is it's not going to overwhelm your life outside of the side hustle world. You're going to keep your full-time job. You'll keep your relationships intact. Everything else should still persist. And limiting yourself to one or two potential sources of income and doing that for an adequate amount of time. We're talking about minimum 1 calendar year gives you the actual chance to become enough of an expert at doing that thing that you're efficient enough and you add enough value to make a substantial amount of income. Anytime you're doing this and you get more than one or two on the books as far as things that you're putting time and energy and effort into, even if it's just thought energy, cut it out. Once you've decided on the one or two, if you feel like quitting in less than a year, stop, reassess, and recommit. Because if you don't give yourself at least that amount of time, it's not even worth starting in the first place. These things take time. You can do it if you put your mind to it. You can do it if you put your back into it. So just follow the structure that I talked about in this video. Watch this video next because it's about passive income and how that can be quite deceptive. Passive income actually isn't a thing. It doesn't exist. And here's why. And otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Now I'm trying to be tricky and think that like the video stopped right there. The secret comment word for today is actually burritos. All right, for real this time.